Hey guys, it's Jaylon. Welcome back. I'm here today to share with you my update for Pen and Every palette. This is a project that I was inspired to start by watching Paula at a Beauty Guru made me do it. And the original creator of this project was Lady Pants-A-Lot. So I have my palettes broken up into 3 categories for this project. And all of my palettes are randomly chosen for me. The first 5, I actually picked the shade myself. The next 3 are the shade is randomly chosen for me as well as the palette. And then lastly, I did start the Project Level Up project that was created by Sophie, Alexandra. And I am currently working on level 3. So let me share with you the palettes I'm working on. The first 5 I'm going to share are palettes where I choose the shade. The first one is by Beauty Bay. It's the Midnight 42 color palette. Next we have the Glam Light Ice Cream Dream palette. Oh, that's not centered, I'm sorry. Next I have from Tarte the Tartelette Juicy palette. Is that right? Yeah, Tartelette Juicy. Next I have the Huda Beauty Pastels Lilac palette. And the last one is the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette. Now for the ones where the shade was randomly chosen for me, we have the Cosmetics Nightshade palette, the Colourpop Melt For You palette, and lastly the Ace Beauté Slice of Paradise palette. And the last palette I'm working on is for my Project Level Up. It is the Milani Soft and Sultry palette. Again, level 3, so I have to hit 3 pans and use each shade 3 times. So now the question is, did I hit pan in any of these palettes? Sort of. I have hit pans in this Milani Soft and Sultry palette, which I'm going to share in a minute. I'm also decluttering a palette. I talked about this in, I think, my empties video. This Ace Beauté Slice of Paradise palette just did not work for me. I cannot. And for me, the shade that was rolled in is this one here. That's the shade Flamingo. That shade is fine. But I'm not going to keep this whole palette just to hit pan in this and then declutter it. It just didn't make sense to me. The problem with this palette for me is these darker mattes do not lay on top of other shadows at all. And it doesn't work for me. It may work for somebody else, but it's just not working for me. And I'm not going to keep this for just a couple of shades. I have so many eyeshadow palettes that it's not worth keeping it. So this is being decluttered. And then let me share with you how things are going with this Milani palette, because I am going to roll in a new palette. Even though I'm not haven't 100% met my goal, I'm really close. So again, it's the Milani Soft and Sultry eyeshadow palette, this one here. And this is how this is looking. So I actually have 2 pans right here. And I have this one that I'm working on hitting pan in, and I am really close, I think. I use it to smoke out the lower lash line and to smoke out the outer corner. So I think it's really close. I would say less than 5 uses and it'll be done, or I'll hit pan in it. Now the other thing is I have three shadows I have not hit my 3 use goal on. And it's these 3 shimmers here. So this one I have 1 use, this one I have 2 uses, and I have 1 use in this one. So just, 4 uses left in those shimmers. Wait, no, 4 uses left. And I will hit my goal on the usage portion of this palette. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and roll in a new palette for this because I do think I'm going to hit those goals fairly quickly. I did use one of those shimmers today. I used this one today as a base for a Cleona shadow I'm wearing. All right, so that is what's going on with the palettes that are either rolling out or I'm bringing a new palette for. Let me share with you how things are going with the ones I am working on. First, we're going to talk about the palettes where I chose a shade. Then the first one is the Beauty Bay Midnight 42 color palette. And I am working on the shade Shield, which is this one here. If you can tell, I do have a nice dip going in that. And I don't know how close I am, but I I don't know that these pans are that deep. So, I mean, I can kind of tell with this broken shade. I think I'll be hitting my goal on this fairly soon. I have cat hair, of course, as usual. This is a beautiful, gorgeous eyeshadow. I love it. So anyway, working on that one. Next, I have the Glam Light Ice Cream Dream palette. And the shade I am working on in this one is Rainbow Sherbet, which is this one here. There is a little bit of like a purple eyeshadow kind of mixed in there, so we'll clean that up. This is also a beautiful like pink metallic shade. Really do like that one. But as you can see, I am not close to hitting goal on it yet. I mean, I do have a slight dip, but it's got a ways to go. I hit like 5 pans. No, I had a bunch of pans that rolled out last month, or a bunch of eyeshadows that rolled out last month. So all of these were like brand new rolled in last month. Next, I have the Tartelette Juicy palette. And I have a matte that I'm working on in here, which means it's going to be in here forever. It is this shade down here. You can barely tell that I've used it. That is the shade Rose. It's beautiful, but you know, it's a Tarte eyeshadow. It's going to be in here forever. It's beautiful though. And I'm really close to finishing an eyeshadow that's in my Norvina palette that's kind of similar to this, so it'll be a good replacement for that. Next, I have the Huda Beauty Pastels Lilac palette. And I rolled in a shimmer in here. It's this one. And I do have a dip, but as you can tell, this is, or I don't know if you can tell, this is a very like malleable eyeshadow. It kind of moves around like a Super Shock shadow from Colourpop would. So I just want to make sure that I'm not taking advantage of that. I have worn this a couple of times. It's really beautiful. There we go. It doesn't look that great on my hand that doesn't have a primer set down, but it's okay. So I do have a ways to go on this one, even though there's that dip there. Everything kind of moves around in here. And then lastly, I have the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette, and I rolled in the shade Pop, which is this one right here. And I do have a dip going in this one. I'm using this in my inner corner today, actually. I kind of forgot about it for that purpose, but honestly, I was using the Milani. I was using this shade in my inner corner for the majority of the month, so I kind of wanted to focus on that first before starting to work on this one. This is gorgeous as an inner corner. I do have some hard pan in there that I need to clear out. There's that shade. So those are all the palettes where I chose the shade. Now for the 2 remaining palettes where the shade was randomly chosen for me. I have the BH Cosmetics Nightshade palette. And the shade that was chosen for me is the shade Shady. It's this one here. And I don't know if you can tell, I do have a bit of a dip going in there. I really do love this shade. It's definitely my kind of color. So there we go. It's stunning. I love it. So again, a nice dip going, but nowhere close to hitting pan. And then lastly, I have the Colourpop Melt For You palette, this one. And I'm working on the center shade here, which is, what's the shade name? Dipped. That one there. I may have used this once, and that's it. I kind of forgot about it. Ain't gonna lie. It's really pretty though. So there's my current color story. Not bad. And so now I am going to pick 2 new palettes. One to replace, or not to replace this one yet, but one for my Project Level Up number 4. Project Level Up 4. Because I'm working on 3 now. And then another one to replace this hot mess of a palette that I'm decluttering. So I have all my palettes in Wheel of Names. So we're going to first pick the palette where the shade is going to be randomly chosen for me. What'd I get? Okay, BH Cosmetics Zodiac Love Signs. Oh, I think that one has some baked eyeshadows. Oh, shoot. Okay, so there's the first one. Now for my Project Level Up number 4. I know I'm not saying that right, but you know what I mean. Oh, what is it? Buxom Dollys Wildside. Okay. Awesome. Let me go grab these palettes. I'll be right back. Okay. First one we have is Zodiac Love Signs by BH Cosmetics. I haven't looked at this in forever. All right. Here's what this one looks like. Bet you those baked shadows will take forever. So I'm not going to do the highlighter in the center because that is that's supposed to be intended as a highlighter. So let's see. How many shades are in here? I think it's 24, right? 24 eyeshadows. And when I count, we're going to start with Aquarius, and the shimmers will be 1 through 12, and the mattes will be 13 through 24. All right, so let me go to Pretty Random, and we're going to do 1 to 24. All right, here we go. Let's see what we get. Number 8, which means it's a shimmer. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are you kidding me? 8. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. I don't use shadows like this very often, but I'm going to try to make it happen. It's really pretty. I'll have to find interesting ways to use it. Of all the shadows. Well, it's fine. It's fine. At least it's somewhat colorful, you know? All right. So, and I didn't say that was for Cancer. The Cancer Shimmer Shade. That's really hard to say. Okay, so that is the Zodiac Love Signs palette by BH Cosmetics. Now for the Buxom Dollys Wildside palette. This is my level 4 palette. This is gorgeous, but I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if I'm ever going to hit level 5. This is going to take forever. Let me swatch this palette because there are 6 shades in here, and I need to hit pan in 4 of them. Ooh, that's really pretty. There are the shades in this palette. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Oh, I could see myself using a lot of these shimmers like this one, and this one. And then I'm not sure about number 4. Maybe this one here. Although I was going to say it's kind of similar to the one from the Tarte palette, but not even close. So it may be a good first crease shade. Okay. So there is my color palette for Pan in Every Palette, which I think that's beautiful. And then here is the Buxom Dollys Wildside, right? Yeah, Dollys Wildside. So it's interesting. I've gotten 2 neutral palettes back to back for my project level up. I think this is totally doable. I mean, I'm just worried about the shadows being like the pans being really deep. Each pan is 0.05 ounces or 1.4 grams. It's a lot of eyeshadow. And keep in mind, my Norvina palette is like priority, but I know I can incorporate this with the palette. And anyway, I know I can incorporate several of these shades. I'm babbling at this point. That is going to be it for this update. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you're doing well and staying safe. Please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. And then lastly, I did start the product. Dang it. Okay, bye.